Hello and welcome to my review of the Warhammer Age of Sigmar Slaves to Darkness Start Collecting box set. It's my first ever Age of Sigmar Start Collecting box set review, if you don't really count the Demons of Nurgle. I'm going to try and get a Demons of Khorne Start Collecting set at some point, and if Gloomspite Gits or Ossiarch Bone Reapers get their sets, then undoubtedly I'm going to try and cover them too. The box set will cost you £60. You could quite easily say that the Chaos Lord on the Karkadrak would cost you about £30, and the Knights may well cost you £30, with the Warriors possibly costing you £25. So take your pick. Either way, you're getting one of these units for free. Then if you factor in a third-party seller, you can get another 20% off or so. So even though the start collecting sets have gone up in price from a lovely £50 to £60, you can still find some value. This is the newest and most recent start collecting set for Age of Sigmar, and it is a little bit of a change in direction for Games Workshop. I'm not sure whether this is the direction that they are going to continue to go in, because there are a few start collecting sets that aren't out, a few armies that don't have them, but there are models out there. So one would assume that when they do release those start collecting sets, the sprues in there will be from the main kits. And that was one of the unique selling points of these start collecting sets, was that you got the full size kits in these start collecting sets with all of the spare parts and the weapon options and things at a discounted price. This is a complete change of direction for Games Workshop. What they've done here is akin to the full-sized games where they have two sets of forces in singular poses, and that's the only way to get those models. They've taken that formula and put it into start collecting, and in my opinion, I can't fully support it. I would much rather them have multi-part, multi-pose kits in these start collecting sets than what we're getting. These models are absolutely beautiful. There's no mistaking that at all. However, they're pushed to fit and only come with the poses you see there. The spare parts, for instance, are just here. You can put them in one hand. I mean, you can basically put most of the spare parts in one hand, but this is just a little example. That's the spare parts you get. You get your 10 different heads, helmetless heads for the warriors, and then if you equip, and then if you turn one of your knights into the Doom Knight, you get the spare Cursed Lance, and you get the helmetless head for the Chaos Lord. So you compare those spare parts to all of the other box sets, and it is pretty shameful. I've always said that if the trade-off for getting beautiful looking miniatures was at the cost of monopose models, that was a good thing. I do still feel like that. I do still feel that way, but not when it comes to this start collecting set. In my opinion, I think all of these models should have been multi-pose and multi-part, and it is a letdown that this set isn't. It stands out amongst all of those other sets as not having the spare parts or the posability one has come to expect if one has purchased previous start collecting box sets. Anyway, enough of the negativity. Let's have a look at the models individually. I have done separate reviews on all of these. You get this build guide, which is all right. You get the paint guide at the back, gives you some ideas, but you don't get any rules at all. You don't get any of the war scrolls, and maybe it would have been a bit too much to have added them in the back of this, as they're not really doing rules with a lot of their build guides anymore. The Sisters of Army battle set, that didn't have obviously that had the codex with it, but it didn't have rules in the build guide. But there are a few start collecting sets out there that have formation specific rules, and I would have liked to have seen some kind of unique ability that synergizes these three units and make them into this force specific to this force, really. That would have been a lovely addition. And the war scrolls. However, you can find the war scrolls for free using the Age of Sigmar app, but failing that, you can always buy the Chaos Battle Tome Slaves to Darkness in the background, and all of these units have new pictures of them in there and their rules, so it's a nice tome to look back at and get some painting ideas, and also look at different painted versions of these new models, but there aren't any other new models other than those 3 new monstrous creatures in there, which I'm really looking forward to, and I'll definitely be getting all 3. So let's start off with so the elephant in the room, this beast, this dinosaur type lizard thing. It's amazing, absolutely amazing, such a stunning model. I thought Chaos Knights couldn't get any better. You know, you've got your Chaos Lord on a mount, on a steed, and they look horrific with all the armor on the horses. This pumps it up to 10. This is some kind of creature, this Karkadrak, a lizard thing, and it's got the armor plates too. It's got a bit of a scenic base. In my opinion, it's worth getting the set for this model alone, and if it was just a lord on a steed, I don't think I'd be attracted to this set half as much as this creature. He's got this amazing axe here and this sword, and his helmet looks like something from Thousand Suns, like Ahriman or some kind of sorcerer. Stunning model, really like it, and it drew me to the set. So yeah, in these start collecting sets, you've got to have a strong kind of HQ choice. You can change the head and have him without that horny helmet if you like. So that's the Chaos Lord on the Karkadrak. The next models, which I absolutely love, are the new Chaos Knights. You know, the sense of action and charge with these models, if it will zoom, is just immense. You know, look at the way the horse is moving forward, and that cursed lance about to pierce another knight maybe, or a monstrous creature, who knows. I love how dynamic all of these knights look, and they're all different. They've all got different helmets, they've all got different weapons, different shields, different mounts in different poses. They're very unique, and I really like that about this set. This one as well. And you've got the others, you know, you've got the Doom Knight here again with a really nice horny helmet and this flail. When Games Workshop get their sort of fantasy models right, they really do get them right, and I think these models are stupendous. So there's some of the knights at least, and then we go to these Chaos Warriors. Now, I like most of the poses for these warriors. I mean, the Aspiring Champion, pretty cool. You know, arm stretched out with that spiked mace. I love the shields that they've all got. These models, there's a lot of weight to them. You know, if we just take that warrior as well, he's sort of moving forward with this massive shield and this big sword, full in armour. I like the fact that there's not many mutations on them as well. There's not like horns sprouting out of their armour as much. There's not pustules. You know, they're undivided. You know, there's nothing that really sets them apart as much in terms of, are they Khorne, are they Tzeentch? You know, other than your colour schemes, of course. I'm not a big fan of the black that they've painted them in. I don't think I'll paint mine in black. I like this one too, with the kind of lizard armour cloak. Some of the poses admittedly aren't that good, like this one. I mean, I like his helmet in a way, but his arm and his axe are at an odd angle. Yeah, this one with this spiky shield. Bracing for an attack, bracing against a spell maybe. And then this chopper. I'm sure someone will make some kind of diorama where there's a pile of logs that he's splitting, maybe. That's what I'd do if I have the time and the freedom to do such things. So they're the warriors. Very impressed with those models, but like I said at the start, they are monopose, push to fit models as well. you don't necessarily need glue to put any of these together. So you'll still need clippers to get them off the sprue, you still need a hobby knife to shear the sprue flak off, and you'll still need a file to file the mould lines. So why not, you know, get some glue as well and, you know, do a full job on them. So in terms of the looks of these miniatures, I can't fault them really. There's one or two dodgy-ish poses, but like 99% of these are beautiful models that carry weight and they capture the feel of Chaos Warriors and a Slaves to Darkness army. The downside of this set is of course the price, because they bumped it up to £60, and the lack of any posability, and the downside of getting like a second pack, you know, in terms of twins. You know, you get a second pack of these, you're going to have all the models will look exactly the same, unless you know, choose the helmetless options. They're going to be in all of the same poses, which, yeah, is a downside. So I am in a quandary in that I can recommend this box set, but not wholeheartedly if you're looking for new multi-part, multi-pose models. If you like the look of these, I would say go for it. And if you've already got a Slaves to Darkness or Chaos Warrior kind of army, then yes, then they're excellent new models that will polish up the look of the rest of your army and your force. What do you guys think of this Start Collecting box set? Would you like to see more reviews of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Start Collecting sets other than Archaon and the Varangard? What other models would you like to see from Slaves to Darkness, and indeed from Age of Sigmar, on the channel? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down below. It's always great to read them. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. Death to the False Emperor.